for my child. And that's like including 2 people that.
All right, I have 6:30. We'll go ahead and get started. Call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call, please.
Here.
Here.
John Cross?
Here.
Mary Kings? Maria Mason?
Here.
Lisa Cantor?
Here.
Jeff Reed?
Here.
Gary Spielman?
Here.
Joanne Pitches?
Here.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have minutes from the regular meeting September 18 and special meeting September 25.
I move for approval of the regular meeting minutes from September 18th and the special meeting minutes from September 25th as written.
Second.
Motion and a second then for approval of the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right, thank you for all of you that are in attendance, all of you that are watching on the YouTube channel. Appreciate your attendance this evening as we go through our agenda. Public comment? No public comment? All right. That moves us down to the agenda for this evening. If there's no corrections, look for adoption.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second for the adoption of the agenda this evening. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right, moving right along. Reports by administration, starting off with 8.1, School of the Month, Prairie View Elementary. Welcome this evening.
Thank you. Good evening. This is about my 12th presentation this month. One of them I was by myself, and the other 11 was with Caitlin. I'll tell you which one I went over. So lucky she's here with us today, because she'll keep me on time. So thank you. We are here to present Prairie View Elementary School, more affectionately known as The View. So to start out, this is our mission. As you can see, the acronym spells PAUSE. So this was something that we revamped this summer, our staff did, in our work in professional learning communities, focusing on the 3 big ideas of focus on learning, results orientation, and collaboration, and a culture of collective responsibility. We took those 3 ideas and wanted to come up with a mission that we could both remember, and the students could remember, and the parents could remember, so this is what we came up with. It was probably one of the more heated in-services we've had, because came down to 2, I think it was 28 to 27, so this one did not win unanimously, but we've embraced it, and it works well with our students. Just a brief overview and some trend data from our enrollment, and then some different subgroups over the last several years. So you can see our most recent data there on the right. Pretty steady with some particular areas. Some areas like overall enrollment, I know that's consistent with some of our other elementary schools and just schools in general. Overview and background. So again, we are a 3-section school. We do just have 2 sections in first grade this year due to enrollment. And as many of you are aware, and those that came to the tour, we have our early childhood and 4-year-old kindergarten as well, AM and PM sessions as well, and those are pretty full at the moment. So we love having all of our littlest learners, and we do have quite the diverse and inclusive student body. So just some celebrations from over the last year. When looking at our iReady data for last school year, our ELA proficiency did go up 10 points from the previous spring, which we were really excited to see. We had been focusing a lot on early literacy, and we've been focusing a lot on comprehension last year, and so we saw the results of that in our ELA iReady. We also saw an increased percentage of students meeting their typical growth in both ELA and math, which means students are meeting what iReady would deem is typical for a student in that grade who took the test around the same time, that same demographics, things like that. For Forward, we achieved our highest ELA proficiency since Forward began. So the measure was 55.8, was the previous year up to 60.6 proficiency, which is a growth of over 4 points. And then our 4th grade growth and math proficiency, last year's 4th graders, so this year's 5th graders, over 80% of our students in that grade are proficient in math, according to the Forward exam, and it aligns with iReady as well.
So next on our agenda, we have our school report card. And while we can't necessarily say what our score is, we are very proud of how far we have come. So this year we moved from just exceeds expectations to significantly exceeds expectations. And then you'll see below that there's achievement, growth score, target group, and then on track to graduation. All 4 of those components make up how our score is determined on our school report card. So our achievement, we had a growth of 6 points. We had a growth score increase of over 15 points, so that just shows how far our students are growing, and then achievement obviously is proficiency. And then our target growth was 18 points. So our target group is those in the 25th, the bottom 25th percentile, so they grew 18 points. And then our on track to graduation was an increase of 1 point. And now I get to do something fun with you. So our focus this year for our first school success plan goal is vocabulary. And I'm going to go through a vocabulary routine that our second graders go through. And this is like at the start of every module. So we use Into Reading HMH for our reading curricular resource. And each of our units and modules has different vocabulary words. So I'm going to go through what it would look like in a second grade classroom. And we'll do kind of one together so you get a gist of what it looks like. So I'm going to show you the word. I'm going to have you repeat it after me. I'll use it in a sentence, and then you get to come up with a movement that goes along with it. Are you ready? Okay, the first word is rough. So everybody say rough.
Rough.
Here is a picture of rough. So rough means when you do something in a rough way, you are not being gentle. I'm going to use it in a sentence. Sometimes the puppies play too rough. Does anybody have a movement that they think would go well with this?
Anybody have a what? Repeat, please.
So a movement, anything that would kind of show what this word would mean. Rough. There you go. All right, so everyone do it together. This is what our movement will be. Rough. Rough. There we go. Good job, Mark. Okay, next one. This one's for you.
Rob, you're not posting this.
Is bellowed. So please repeat after me. Bellowed.
Bellowed.
Bellowed means if you bellowed, you shouted in a loud, deep voice. So I will use it in a sentence. The elk bellowed to communicate with other elks. Does anybody have a motion that would go with this one?
We'll do this.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody together, ready? Very good, very good. Okay, our last word for this week is munch. Everybody say munch.
Oh, this is an easy
Munch.
one.
Munch, when you munch food, you chew it loudly and completely. So after school, Claire likes to munch on fresh vegetables. Anybody have an action with this one?
It's someone
Good
else's
job.
turn.
Okay, here we go. Everyone together. Oh, I like the words. Thank you so much. So that was like just a simple, there's more words that kind of go through it, but that's a vocabulary routine that we see often in our classrooms, especially with the younger students. I know in our 5th grade classrooms too, they go through and the teacher will snap. And they've created different signals and hand motions with all of the vocab words, and the kids just do it together. It's amazing. So if you ever are in our building, Mrs. Thompson's room, she does that with them for their vocabulary routines. So along with that, this is our goal for vocabulary, specifically with ELA. We would like to increase our vocabulary proficiency by 4%. So from 69%, which was our spring iReady score, to 73%, as measured by iReady. And then our subgroup that we're going to be focusing on is our students who are below grade level. So by the end of the 23-24 school year, 100% of students below grade level in vocab will increase at least 1 placement level. So our placement levels, we have 5 different placement levels. So you can either be on grade level, like mid to on grade level, 1 grade level below, 2 grade level below, or 3 grade levels or below. So we want that to just move. It doesn't necessarily mean moving a grade level, it just means moving that placement level. So as of October 20, 2023, our proficiency right now is at 37%, and that's based on our first iReady diagnostic. At this time last year, we were at 32%. So already we are starting the year higher than we were at this time last year. And then we are measuring this by utilizing a grade 11 common assessment. So all of our grade levels were tasked with creating a grade level common assessment. They would give it and then base their vocabulary proficiency on that. last thing. So the don't slip up on vocabulary, this was something that our second grade team worked to create, and it's kind of just a simple vocabulary routine that we use across all of our grade levels, kindergarten through 5th grade, and it just spells stop, look, investigate, and prove. So this was something that we went over during an in-service time all together as a building, and then each of our teachers received this to use in their classroom as a poster, and they also have bookmarks for their kids. So this is something that we just, as a school, want it to be some common language so that when we're practicing vocabulary, especially with new and unknown words, they have this in their toolbox to be able to use.
See why I had Caitlin do that? So, is this on?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Math, I know we went over this briefly during the workshop, but just a reminder again, we're looking to increase our overall math proficiency. So we're not focusing on a specific domain like we have in the past. This year we're focusing on just overall proficiency, increasing it by 5% as measured by iReady, and looking to get over that 80% hump from 77 to 82. The subgroup is very similar to our vocabulary. We're looking at the students that are below to gain 1 placement level. In the fall, we were at 25% overall proficiency, which is pretty consistent with where we were last year at this time. And then just like vocabulary, our teachers have created an assessment that they're going to use to track monthly or quarterly to assess student proficiency, and we're using just the essential standards for our students, not all the standards. So it's a way for us to track how they're mastering what we've deemed essential in our district, but also track how our proficiency is growing as it goes throughout the year. So some key action steps that we've accomplished already so far with both of those academic goals. We're doing interactive read-alouds, highlighting different vocabulary. Like Caitlin showed you and mentioned with the slip, we're introducing a simple vocabulary routine for introducing new words or for what students can do when they come to a word they don't know. We are spiraling math concepts weekly. So our math units are very segmented. We might work on multiplication for a month and a half, and then we're moving to fractions. So our students don't lose those skills. We're making sure to spiral those skills in every week. Next one, I'll show you a brief video here. This is some work that our staff did over in service about vertical math whiteboards. And I'll show you a video and explain to you a little bit as we go. So this is a second grade class. So almost all of our teachers have either glass where they can put stickers on, or they might have poster paper, or they use their whiteboards in their classroom, and a teacher will give groups of students a problem to solve, and they have these vertical whiteboards to work together to try and solve the problem versus working on it independently. So this is an example of a second grade class looking to solve, I think it's 8 plus 9.
And the person with the marker cannot do the talking, so they're just writing for their peers. So it's a way to engage everybody.
Another nice thing about vertical whiteboards like this is it increases discourse between students. Again, the student without the marker is explaining to the student with the marker how they might solve that problem, and the person with the marker is recording that, and then the next problem or within this problem they would switch that role so that they both get to talk as well. So this is something that came out of in-service professional learning that our staff went through as well, and after the professional learning, almost all the teachers were like, how can we get vertical white spaces? So we're both utilizing what we have, the space we have. You can see we can write on those pod windows and erase it with a dry erase marker. We've been repurposing the COVID screens that we used to have and just putting chart paper on them and using those as a dry erase space. The whiteboard, the tables. We've even bought some of our classrooms some dry erase paper that we've put on like the window space so that the kids can go in and write on that as well. So we'll stop it here. That just gives you kind of a sense of some of the work that we're doing to increase math proficiency and math discourse. A couple other action steps that we're doing. The second to last one there is working with our GATE coordinator, so Kathy Wiedenheft, gifted and talented. Our last goal is working on increasing our support for students who need enrichment and extension. And then our last action step that we've achieved so far is teachers and TAs working in small groups during our workshop to focus on vocabulary or math proficiency. So once again, our last objective is really working on that PLC question 4, which is how do we extend the learning for our students who have demonstrated proficiency. We've spent a lot of our time over the last couple of years focusing on our students who need extra support because they don't have that mastery yet. We're now, not that we're not focusing on that, but we're shifting to continue to emphasize our students who need extension. So as of September 29th, 46% of our staff are marking a 4 or a 5, which is considered high on that question when we give that question. We're looking to get that up to 76.3. Some core principles that we live by every day. So all students can learn because of what we do in the building. We are not providing alibis, so we're taking responsibility for what we can do for the students in the 7+ hours we have them every day. Setting high expectations and standards for each other and for our students, and then utilizing small group instruction to support grade level content and essential standards. And then those last 3 things on there were what I mentioned, what our staff used to come up with our mission, those 3 core big ideas in a PLC. Last but not least, some work our Guiding Coalition and our Social Emotional Learning Leadership Team did over the last year was we brainstormed at Prairie View what would an ideal lesson look like. And we came up with that every lesson should have an opener or a hook. Learning target should be stated or posted for every unit or every lesson. There needs to be a real world application for our students so they know why what they're learning is important. Every lesson should have the gradual release of responsibility. So teacher does some work, there's teacher in class collaboratively doing some work, and then students demonstrate their learning on their own. We're differentiating every unit, every lesson, and we're checking at the end for understanding. So this is something that's posted in every classroom. When Caitlin and I are going through to coach our teachers for rapid cycles of feedback, we're using this as our guide so our staff see that how important this is and the work that we did as a team and that we're looking for it every time we come in. We did the same for ideal school environment. I'll let Caitlin talk about that.
So as Brandon was saying, these are some of the things that we as adults believe that would create an ideal school environment. So these are some of the commitments that as an SEL team, we took the time to think about if you were walking into our building and you were an adult in our building, what would you hope to see that would make our environment the best it can be for our students? So these are just things that we know have a positive effect on our students, and these are all strategies that they can use at that tier 1 universal level so that we can kind of be proactive in preventing some of the behaviors that we see. So the first one is just making sure that we're greeting each student at the door. We have to make sure that we're acknowledging when our students are coming in, we're saying hi to them, we're using their name so that they know that we recognize them as a person. We have our classroom expectations posted and routines consistent. We spend a lot of time at the beginning of the school year as a whole school going through the expectations and routines, but then we expect our classrooms to also create the expectations together. Timely transitions, so just making sure that we are moving through things quickly while allowing students to transition, but also not give them a lot of free time so that the misbehavior doesn't occur. The elements of active supervision, so just making sure that we're moving around, we're engaging with our students, we're monitoring our classroom, both inside the classroom, out at recess, in the lunchroom, wherever that may be. A positive ratio of 4 to 1, so for every redirect that we give a student, we want to make sure that we're giving 4 positives in return. And then precise directions, making sure that our students fully understand what we're asking them to do, making sure that it's clear to them. And then just that reteaching focused on student learning and growth. We've really shifted our mindset in the past few years from being a punishment to maybe like a logical consequence for our students and making sure that they understand what we're expecting of them. And these are just some examples that go along with that. And that's all we have. questions?
Well, I know myself and a couple other board members were there for the tour. I say this every year. I'm appreciative of the conversation we get to have with staff when we sit down and have some coffee in the morning. And one of the things that came out of that discussion was just a specific discussion on school culture. And we talked about how important that is in the teaching and learning environment, and that obviously Prairie View sets a really good example when it comes to positive school culture, so appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll take a minute to just congratulate you both, as well as our staff and our entire family at Prairie View on the successes that y'all have achieved. Very proud of that, and I hope that you all are as well. Yeah, we had a great little visit at Prairie View, and I'm proud to be part of the Panther family. So, thank you. Keep up the good work.
I just wanted to comment, thank you for the information you gave here. I like the thing that you said for teaching the kids, you want to have a real purpose for what they're learning, the why. A lot of times kids at that age, any age, it's always why? And you got an answer for them, so that's important, so thank you.
And just a couple other notes. I did notice when we were doing the vocabulary routine that nobody in the audience was participating. So I just want to make that clear. And then I also want to, I do actually appreciate also that we did not get a math routine.
I think they should all demonstrate what rough.
Yeah? They probably were fighting in the back.
Do they remember?
Any other comments, questions for Prairie View? All
Thank you.
right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. That brings up 8.2, Start College Now, program requests. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. In your packet, there is a full comprehensive list of the requests for spring courses through Start College Now. There are 18 students requesting a variety of courses, 56 different course requests. Keeping in mind that many will put down multiple options as sometimes courses are not available, so to have another option in case if one is full. Most of the requests come from 11th and 12th graders for this spring. And, the typical courses, again, a lot of nursing, some of the medical stuff, some IT, courses that typically are not traditionally available at the high school. Some exceptions there due to some students doing a variety of different programming as well, trying to fit in some things too to get a jump start on college. So I'm looking for an approval to move forward with those requests.
Questions for anybody?
Yeah, I've got a quick question. As far as, I thought I saw somewhere, there's only a certain amount of credits that each student is allowed to take. Is that correct? Or are they allowed to take as many classes as they'd like?
There is no set limit.
Okay.
But most kids are typically looking to 1 to 2 because of trying to schedule it around other things that they may be participating in the high school. Some of our kids in some of the advanced nursing pathways may be taking more because they were able to get a jump start over the last couple of years and they want to pursue more so that they can pretty much get into advanced nursing following high school.
So I just had a couple of quick questions. One is they are allowed to sign up for any type of class, right? They don't have to show anything as long as the high school doesn't offer some class.
We can say that the class is offered at the high school, but sometimes there are students with different circumstances that maybe we are allowing them to take something that we may have, but maybe isn't dual credited right now, because remember our dual credit is where our teachers who have a master's degree in a specific area that relates to programming over at MPTC, we can adopt their curriculum or their course plan, then our teachers can teach it in our building.
So out of that, in our committee meetings, there was a discussion that when they do a dual credited class at the high school, that grade counts toward their college GPA. These classes do as well, right?
Correct.
So even if they're taking a full high school load and they're trying to take a little more and they find themselves overwhelmed, these grades count.
And there are standard drop protocols, so like sometimes a student might get into CNA, and then they realize, oh, I'm gonna miss more than, I don't know what their allowed days is, like 2 days, and after that, they have to drop you. Sometimes they'll drop before they get to that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I really appreciate this program. I think it really helps our students out and gives them a lot of experience and sometimes just exposure to what they think they want to do and they maybe find out they don't, so.
Well, you know, the added benefit for us is that most of the classes they're taking are literally next door. You know, we get that luxury of having the campus next to us. But again, we also have the luxury of building some really good partnerships with our dual credit, and we've increased the amount of dual credit that we're able to offer this year, even looking into next year, some additional opportunities. So it just keeps growing, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
The state statute changed, right? Wasn't that something that the Start College Now really is the actual colleges, not the technical schools, but then there's a technical school statute that could still be used for our kids?
So some different terminology gets thrown out there. There's early college entry program, there's Start College Now. But you are correct, we've had students take UW-Madison classes.
Okay.
We've even had kids take courses at Fox Valley Tech because maybe they don't offer that through Moraine Park. So it does open it up. I think we've had students take courses at UW-Whitewater even. So yes, you are correct, it is open up to not just the technical schools anymore.
I think, Ike, that too, what you were referencing was they allude to an 18 credit cap, right? Which we typically wouldn't really experience, but they put that in statute because that would be considered like a max full collegiate load. And students can take a number of courses up to that, but that's typically, you know, we wouldn't see that, but they put that cap in place to mirror what a max cap would be typically at the college level without having to pay additional tuition if you were going to college separately, so. That's, you're probably referencing that, but we typically don't have to navigate that.
Yeah. Sorry if I misinterpreted.
It's good.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Start College Now program request as presented.
Second.
No, that would be a roll call because you're spending money. You're spending money. You're accepting. Yes. Roll call vote. Roll call vote.
All right, so we have a motion and a second then for the Start College Now program requests. Ask for a roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
All right, that moves us to 8.3. We have several donations.
All right, we have a couple of different donations that I'd ask that the board formally accept. This is in line with board policy. So as we know, we live in a very generous and giving community. One such example of that would be that Reed Chrysler has once again donated $2,500 to the district to be used at the discretion of the administration in support of student services, organizations, groups, or otherwise that are involved in providing community outreach. So it's specifically used to help offset some of the costs of those groups and functions. And then the second donation is from a family in our district that would like to donate an AAC, which is augmentative and alternative communication device. These are very expensive devices. We do have the opportunity to use some of these with our students, and this particular device would be valued at up to $7,000. Typically, one of the things that we look at when we consider accepting a donation of a device is such as, you know, what does the long-term cost of ownership look like? And for us, it's minimal, and we would not consider it burdensome. So I would ask that the board graciously accept the $2,500 donation from Reed Chrysler, as well as a generous AAC device donation from a family.
Look for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the donations as presented.
All right, we have a motion and a second then to accept the donations as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right, thank you to both of those for their donation to the school district. Appreciated. That moves us on to reports by the board. So obviously you guys can all see that there is an additional person at our table today, and so I'd like to introduce everybody to Graciela Espinoza. She is our 23-24 student rep, and with that, I would turn it over to her for her report.
Thanks, Graciela. No, you can do it right from there. You just turn your,
Is it on?
I don't think so. Do I just,
push it.
Is
push the
it?
red button.
Push the red button, make sure it's on. Can you hear me?
There
can
you go.
you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Graciela Espinoza, and I'm a senior at Beaver Dam High School, and I'm very excited to have earned this position. During my time at BDHS, I've taken various AP, honors, and Wisconsin virtual school courses. I've also been involved in many extracurricular activities, including National Honor Society, Key Club, and Student Council, where I serve as president this year. Along with extracurricular activities, I take pride in being part of the BDHS marching band, where I serve as drum major, and play various instruments throughout the school year. While participating in activities, fundraisers, school events, and volunteering, I also work in an after-school program with individuals that have special needs, and I help them complete homework assignments and do fun activities. Next fall, I plan on attending UW Stout, majoring in pre-law to hopefully become a criminal law or immigration law attorney. Beaver Dam service organizations have been busily working this school year. Many of the organizations have already accomplished some events and continue to plan more. Beaver Dam High School's Key Club has completed some awesome projects within the community within the past couple weeks. Key Club members have volunteered at PAVE, which is a local organization that helps individuals affected by domestic and sexual abuse. And by doing this, they cleaned up the shelter as well as did some yard work. That being said, members of Key Club are swiftly continuing to help the community, as well as those that live miles away. Last week, members began the UNICEF campaign that raises money to help those in need in the country of Zambia. Another event Key Club members volunteer at and oftentimes plan are the community blood drives. They'll be holding one this Wednesday in the Beaver Dam High School field house. Key Club, along with National Honor Society, have been partnering together by selling suckers in order to raise money to restore the JFK portrait that was originally presented by the BDHS class of 1963. The high school's FFA organization has been busy since the school year began, and so far this fall, members have helped out local farmers and food pantries, competed in the state land evaluation contest, ending the contest in 13th place, and many members took a trip to Markazan in order to participate in a fall leadership workshop. This upcoming weekend on the 28th, members of the FFA are planning on helping the Chamber of Commerce at the Fall Festival taking place downtown. DECA, which is an organization that helps prepare individuals to go into a field of marketing or business, also plans on participating in the Fall Festival with a trick or can booth. This organization is also planning a trip to the Kalahari to participate in an emerging leader conference. As well as a new organization has emerged this year called the FCCLA, Family Career Community Leaders of America. This organization stems from the Family Consumer Sciences program at the high school, and this organization competes in events similar to DECA and earns titles for doing so. This year, they began to be pretty active and have their first event this Wednesday, celebrating Halloween with a small party. The BDHS Student Council has started off the year strong, and their biggest event of the year approached pretty quickly with an early homecoming. Members of the club came together to plan interactive activities and dress-up days. They also organized the homecoming dance, decorations, and ticket sales. This year, ticket sales were very high, and they were actually higher than most years, with sales for the students at BDHS as well as guest sales. Members have been beginning to plan events for the next couple months, such as blood drives, dog walking, and tie blanket making. Busy start to the year also means that the Beaver Dam Middle School has been on a roll. The BDMS Middle School Student Council curated events, dress-up days, and competitions for the week of homecoming and are currently planning interactive days during the National Red Ribbon Week, which is actually this week and through Friday. Along with this, they plan on hosting a Halloween costume contest that allows participants to vote and earn Amazon gift cards. With that, that is pretty much the overview of all the activities going on this month and the next couple months.
Okay, great report, thank you.
Any questions, comments for Graciela? She would love to answer questions. Totally just putting her on the spot. We started this opportunity for students to be involved on the board level several years ago. The board thought it'd be a good opportunity because we obviously always hear from our administration, but we don't necessarily always hear from our student body. And so over the years, students have provided us an opportunity to hear specifically what the student body is doing. And every time the student rep gives a presentation, it's amazing how many things our kids are involved with. Just what Graciela presented tonight, you can see all the opportunities that our kids have, specifically on the extracurricular side, and all the involvement that our kids have. So, Graciela, appreciate your report and all the opportunities that our students have. Any other questions, comments? All right, thank you for your first report. You did an awesome job.
Good job.
That moves us on to 9.2, operations.
Operations Committee met on October 16th, and the gist of our meeting on the 16th was to learn about the budget and any of the changes to the 2023-2024 budget. Since Ryan had given that information earlier today, I'm not going to go into detail on all the individual pieces of that, but we had questions that were answered and that Ryan shared with you today. Our next committee meeting is not scheduled until January 22nd of 2024.
All right, questions for Marge? If not, I'd move on to 9.3, teaching and learning.
Teaching and Learning also met on October 16th. Our committee members present were Mary, Maria, myself, and Gary. Mr. Meyer, the Director of Teaching and Learning, presented an update on the high school course credit options. The high school offers courses that have direct connection through credit or certification to post-secondary options for students. Those courses include Advanced Placement, Cooperative Academy Partnership Program, or CAP, for university credit, and dual credit or technical college credit enrollment. The enrollment in courses, success in courses, and the student interest is continually evaluated, and currently the high school is evaluating how to proceed with AP dual credit and or CAP classes as the opportunities arise. Mr. Meyer also reported that the curriculum review cycle indicates the revision to music, art, health, and PE in the 2023-2024 school year for implementation in 2024-2025. Those contents areas have been working on documenting and adjusting their curriculum over the last several years, which will shorten this review process. A more intensive focus will be provided on the health curriculum for grades 6 and 9, including alignment and resources. Other areas will focus on reviewing the needs for updated physical materials and determining support for those areas of the review. Mr. Meyer also provided an update on the schools who receive Achievement Gap Reduction, or AGR, funding. Jefferson, Lincoln, and Washington Elementary currently receive funding. He reviewed the strategies in reading and math and baseline data for each of the schools. That baseline data will be used to report progress on how AGR options are applied to the school. Like operations, our next committee meeting is scheduled for January 22nd.
All right, questions for Lisa? All right, with that, we will move to 9.4, board engagement, opportunity for board members to share any engagement opportunities they're involved with during the course of the last month. With that, I'll open it up to the board.
In September, I started volunteering again in Laura Schwager's 4K class at Wilson School, which I do 2-3 days a week. And I have to say, Lori, for the month of September, was honored as Dodge County Teacher of the Month, which I thought was well-deserved for her. I helped serve lunch at the high school and really promoted the high school kids to take broccoli, and
How'd that go?
taught her ladies, they were surprised how many kids took it. I don't know if they ate it or not, but I was, come on, how about some broccoli? And I was also at Prairie View.
Other engagement opportunities.
Sure. I went to the School of the Month tour at Prairie View early October. Like you said earlier, Chad, it was good sitting down with all of our staff and having a nice conversation with them. I also had the opportunity to serve lunch at Prairie View Elementary. On the menu that day, I think, was chicken nuggets versus chips and salsa. And chicken nuggets ran away with that one. Big time. It was. I got a chance to try both, and I'm a chips and salsa kind of guy, so it worked out. But as Gary said too, the kids they take vegetables. It's good to see, and from what I could tell, they're all, most of them were part of the Clean Plate Club, so it was good to see. But it was good to be a part of that. So.
All right, other opportunities.
I attended the first wellness committee meeting for this school year, and the group came up with a few great ideas to start out the fall and early winter, and working on some ideas for perhaps some recipes to go along with walking and taking pictures of things they see for a potential calendar. So there are some options out there that they'll be working on. So.
Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you to all the teachers that saw the parents and spoke to all the parents on teacher conference days, and I just appreciate it. Thanks for the smiles. When I'm sure you guys were so tired. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Again, appreciate the board members taking time to be as involved as they possibly can based on everybody's busy schedules. We have numerous opportunities for the board to be involved, and I appreciate your engagement. Moving on to recognitions. Anybody have any recognitions they'd like to share out?
I just want to recognize the Beaver Dam Area Community Foundation, especially in regards to the education fund for Beaver Dam. Recently, we met as a committee and were able to give $12,000 towards the different teachers and principal ideas for some special needs for their classes. And particular things that they wanted to do. So Tom Heffron and Pat Lutz, who started the Beaver Dam Area Community Foundation, keep it moving and getting more activity all the time. And so just a shout out to anybody who's interested in donating to the Beaver Dam Area Community Foundation, especially the Beaver Dam Unified School District Education Fund, can do so at any time. Thank you.
All right, I also know that the city of Beaver Dam, obviously, through their federal relief money, designated $50,000 for child care improvements, specifically to our work at Wilson, so appreciate them earmarking that $50,000 for that as well.
I just wanted to mention, when we come to this meeting and we just give our committee reports, I really want to thank the central office staff that does the work with us in committee and explains to a bunch of people that education is not our career, but we need to understand what's going on. And we've had some really great presentations, in both committee meetings this month. The presentation for our business, I cannot think of the word right now, but the meeting we had before this meeting, The presentation for that.
Budget
The
hearing.
budget, thank you, was outstanding and really brought a level of understanding that was fantastic, as well as the Teaching and Learning Committee. But all of our presentations this year have just been outstanding and really help us to understand and make the best decisions. So I really want to thank you all for the time that you put into that.
Others?
All right. Echo the sentiments from Maria regarding parent-teacher conferences, so recognize the staff and the families for engaging in that. It's a really good opportunity to engage face-to-face. I know technology allows us to do a lot of things that seem super convenient, but that face-to-face engagement's really important. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and it's a two-way street. So the more we can partner for kids, the better, obviously. So thanks to the families and the staff. A couple of shout outs, use Marge's vernacular here for some student athletes. McKenna Nelson, third at the state championships in golf since the last time we met. So that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And she's only a freshman. So wish her continued success with that. Mila Westra was one of the top finishers at this weekend's Slinger Sectional, so she qualified once again for the state championship tournament, so in cross country, so kudos to her and all of her work and commitment and her positive leadership on that team. A couple of recognitions / mark your calendars. Between now and the next board meeting, the All Shook Up musical will begin, so that starts November 9th. I was going to do an Elvis impression, but Mary advised against it. Ooh, yeah. All right, so the Seckles Scrimmage. So it's an awesome, awesome event. If you haven't been, stop by. It's November 7th at the high school. So a wonderful event honoring Meg and the value of community and collaborating and connecting with people regardless of their other disabilities. So it's just a wonderful event, so please consider stopping by that. And then the annual food drive will kick off on November 13th, which is the next time the board will hold a business meeting. So I'm sure there'll be like a challenge, operations versus teaching and learning committee or something. We'll have to figure that out behind the scenes. But the annual food drive will kick off the week of the 13th, so mark your calendar for that. That's all I have.
All right, with that, I would ask for a motion to move into closed session.
I move the board recess into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85. Paren 1, Paren C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically to discuss specific employees in the evaluation of the superintendent.
Second.
All right, one motion and a second to move into closed session. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 All right, we'll move into closed session and be back afterwards. And give board members an opportunity to introduce themselves to Graciela, as she probably will not be here afterwards. Good. All right, we are back in open session. We will move on to 12, district policy and guidelines.
There are no resignations or retirements on the agenda tonight. We do have a couple leaves of absence for you to consider.
I move the board approve the leaves of absence as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the leaves of absence as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right.
There's one appointment on the agenda tonight. It's for a long-term sub position for two different leaves of absence at the high school for special education for Lisa Schleicher.
I move the board approve the appointment as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second then to approve the appointment as presented. Roll call vote, please.
Maria Mason,
Yes.
Lisa Panzer,
Yes.
Chad Reavers,
Yes.
Gary Spielman.
Yes.
Joanne Majeski,
Yes.
Isaac Norton,
Yes.
Marge Jorgensen,
Yes.
John Kraus.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what everybody's been waiting for.
Ryan's been waiting.
Ryan's been waiting for.
We have budget adoption and certification of property tax levy.
I move the Board of Education of the Beaver Dam Unified School District hereby adopt the 2023-2024 original budget, including Fund 10 general operations revenues totaling $46,533,335 and expenditures totaling $46,434,335 as presented as the official district budget for the school year.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt the budget and certification of property tax levy. Roll call vote, please.
Lisa Panzer,
Yes.
Chad Reavers,
Yes.
Gary Spielman.
Yes.
Joanne Majeski.
Yes.
Isaac Norton,
Yes.
Marge Jorgensen,
Yes.
John Kraus.
Yes.
Maria Mason.
Yes.
So I know what you're thinking. You're like,
Just,
I stayed around here and came up to the podium. I didn't even get to talk.
All right, so
Second part of this now.
the board has moved and adopted the budget.
Now we've
Right.
adopted the budget.
I
So-
move the Board of Education of the Beaver Dam Unified School District hereby adopt, certify, and impose a school tax levy of $17,959,497 upon all real taxable property within the Beaver Dam Unified School District.
second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Chad Reavers,
Yes.
Gary Spielman.
Yes.
Joanne Majeski,
Yes.
Isaac Norton,
Yes.
Marge Jorgensen,
Yes.
John Kraus,
Yes.
Maria Mason,
Yes.
Lisa Panzer.
Yes.
Thank you. Howard.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Drive safe. All right, that moves us on to 12.5, board policy revisions.
All right, this evening I present to you the first reading for prospective policy changes as recommended by Neola and reviewed by our administration. So you have policy updates for potential board adoption in your board packet. In that, you will notice 7 new policies being proposed. Additionally, you will see one policy being referenced for renumbering. That has to do with a different policy adjustments. We'd have to change the number because they're separate policies. And then 27 revisions, 10 to be rescinded, which usually when we're rescinding a policy, usually that's tied to some efficiency in language, not wanting to be redundant in multiple policies. And then you see 2 replacements. So I would ask that you take some time, obviously, over the next month to review these. Please contact me with any questions or feel free to bring those back for a second reading when we have that, but I'm available at any time. I would also reference, and if you want to write down this number, the new policy or prospective new policy numbered 7540.08. That's at the top of the handout that you have. That has to do with AI. It's one of those policies that Neola will say they're recommending, but they're not saying we absolutely need. I'm not a huge fan of policies we don't absolutely probably need. So I think there might be a potential to not necessarily adopt that at this time. It doesn't have a lot of really immediately pertinent substance, just references a thing that we're all generally aware of. So take a look at that. as that might be something that I would likely, for the second reading, not be recommending as one of the 7, so be recommending 6 of the 7. Okay? All right, that's all.
All right, we'll move on to payment of claims.
I move for payment of claims in the amount of $5,091,019.35.
Motion and a second then to approve payment of claims. Roll call vote again.
Gary Filner,
Yes.
Joanne Wojcicki,
Yes.
Isaac Rundle,
Yes.
Mark Jorgensen,
Yes.
John Cost,
Yes.
Maria Mason,
Yes.
Mansell,
Yes.
Chad Hugo.
Yes. All right, ask for a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.